Breakups. Oh boy. They can be really tough sometimes. I mean, sometimes they can be kind of easy, but it just really depends. Back to my main point. Almost everyone has experienced at least one breakup in their life. Superheroes are no different. They are just like us. Sometimes their relationships don't work and they are forced to call it quits. Some, a lot more than others. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Top 10 Nerd. I am your host, David Raff, and today we are going to be talking about the top 10 superheroes who break up the most. Now, let me start off by saying that, this list is not just going to be, the least amount to the most amount of breakups. It's just a list of heroes who have, just had a lot of breakups. Just want to clarify that before we begin. Okay, now, let's get started. Number 10, Rogue. Now, you would think with the powers Rogue has that she wouldn't really date anyone and just kind of keep to herself. Well, it's not true at all. Rogue has had a lot of notable relationships over the years. One of the biggest and longest lasting ones was with Gambit. Although, it didn't last and it ended kind of badly. She has also been with the Sentry, who was one of the only ones that she could actually physically touch and not permanently hurt them. And there was also Spider-Man in the 90s cartoon. That was also kind of addressed in an issue of X-Men Forever. But if you hadn't already guessed, it also didn't last. She also briefly dated Wolverine, Colossus, and in What If number 114, Rogue and Captain America were a couple for a little bit. But of course, that didn't last either. But it happened, so we're talking about it. Number 9, Human Torch. Good old Johnny Storm. Women love the guy. I guess they find him really hot. Oh man, that was just too easy and also unnecessary. So Johnny has a long romantic history. One of the first relationships he had was with Dory Evans. There's also Crystal, Rogue, Frankie Ray, Alicia Masters. Yep, the Alicia Masters, that's with Ben Grimm, aka The Thing. Her and Johnny Storm were together, but it didn't last long. Okay, continuing on with the list, there was Medusa, Namorita, Courtney Keaton, and even Ultimate Firestar. But she ended up leaving him, Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde, also known as the hero Shadowcat. I think her most famous relationship was with fellow X-Man, Colossus, although the two eventually did call it quits. Some other people she has had relationships with are Iceman, Spider-Man in the Ultimate Universe, but he ended up breaking it off with her so he could be with Mary Jane. And one of her more recent relationships was with Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, who she got engaged to, and she even took on the mantle of Star-Lord for a bit. But, it ended, like most of the couples on this list. Number 7, Daredevil. Matt Murdock, the man without fear. The devil of Hell's Kitchen may be fearless, but that hasn't helped him in the relationship department. He still has had his fair share of breakups. I mean, Matt and Elektra have been on and off since, as long as I can remember. And he's also had a messy breakup with Karen Page. But that hasn't stopped him from dating, Black Widow, Maya Lopez, Dakota North, Kristen McDuffie, and on the Netflix show, he was briefly with Claire Temple, aka Night Nurse. Man, I really miss that show. It hurts me even to think about it. I mean, season 3 was amazing and set up season 4 so well, but, I digress. Number 6, Superman. Clark Kent, the Man of Steel. One of the strongest and most well-known heroes in the world. Even he's been dumped or done the dumping. Even though Lois Lane is his one and only true love, it doesn't mean their relationship is perfect. The two have broken up from time to time. Clark has also been with another very famous hero, Wonder Woman. Although some of their relationships were, in non-canon stories, the two did date briefly during New 52, but now that technically didn't happen with Rebirth, superhero continuity, what can you do? There's also Lana Lang. In the comics, those two have been off and on, briefly, and oh boy, remember the TV show Smallville? I've lost track, man. But in the end, they couldn't be together even though they wanted to because she ended up absorbing a ton of kryptonite, so Clark couldn't even get close to her anymore. But hey, it worked out. Clark ended up marrying Lois, and they went off and had some kids. It's all good. Number 5, Wolverine. Even superheroes as grumpy as Wolverine have had relationships. Of course, one of his most famous ones is with fellow teammate Jean Grey, which of course has caused tension with Scott Summers, aka Cyclops. But Jean Grey isn't the only one. He's also had relationships with Viper, Squirrel Girl, Melita Garner, Yumiko, Storm, and in an alternate dimension, even Hercules. Although it's not really stated that they broke up, Zeus did end up forbidding it, which doesn't always stop people, but who knows. He also dated Mystique for a little bit. But, you know, it also did not end well. Number 4, Black Widow. Natasha Romanova, aka Black Widow, one of the most skilled and deadliest women in the Marvel Universe. Also isn't immune to breakups. Like most heroes, she has had a lot of them. One of the biggest ones was Daredevil, but one of the most shocking ones is Spider-Man. They dated very briefly. It was after she was tortured by Hydra and her mind switched to one of her cover stories, Nancy Rushman, and Spider-Man happened to be the one to save her, and well, she kinda just fell for him. It didn't last very long though. There was also Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. The two were together during their days in the Soviet Union. In the MCU, Black Widow also had a brief relationship with Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk. Although that ended when Hulk went off to Sakaar. And then she also dated Hercules, Hawkeye, and in the Ultimate Universe, she was with Iron Man. Although it didn't last because she was secretly trying to just get revenge on some of the heroes. Number 3, Batman. Bruce Wayne, billionaire playboy turned superhero. You think a guy that spends most of his nightlife out in the city beating up criminals wouldn't have time to date? Well, he does. Dear old Bruce has made his way around the DC Universe, and it doesn't always turn out well. The dude has had a lot of breakups. I mean, there's Selena Kyle, who is arguably the most famous. They have such an on and off again relationship. I've lost track of how many times they've gotten together and then broken up. I mean, she ended up leaving him at the altar, so who knows what's gonna happen next. Then there's Talia al Ghul, who he had a kid with, you know, Damian Wayne, Andrea Beaumont, Lois Lane. Yep, you heard that right. In the comics, there have been times where it was just a ruse, but in Superman the Animated Series, it actually happened. Of course, they ended up breaking up. But it happened, folks. Okay, where was I? Ah yes, there was also Vicky Vale, Sacha Bordeaux, Chase Meriden, and even Black Canary at one point, which I'm sure, you know, the Green Arrow didn't appreciate. Speaking of which, that brings us to number 2. Green Arrow, but from the TV show Arrow. Oliver Queen, another billionaire playboy turned superhero. Before his days as a hero, Oliver was just a player. Honestly, we don't know how many people he was actually with in those days, but you know, it was a lot. But we do know some. And all of the ones he has with and broke up with after. For starters, there's Laura Lance and her sister Sarah Lance, Helena Bernelli, McKenna Hall, Shadow, which I know wasn't a formal breakup, but when Ivo told Oliver to choose between her and Sarah, Oliver chose Sarah, so I'm including it. It also caused a big problem with Slade, who of course also had feelings for Shadow. Okay, so back to the list. There's also Isabel Rocha, Felicity Smoke, who he ended up getting back together with, but they still broke up. Samantha Clayton, who was the mother of Oliver's son, William, she got paid off to go. There was also the reporter, Susan Williams. Luckily, Oliver ended up finding a relationship that stuck. Number 1, Spider-Man. Yep, Peter Parker really gets around. Seriously, over the course of his superhero history, Peter has been with and broken up with a lot of different people. Let's name a few. There's Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, Felicia Hardy, aka Black Cat, Miss Marvel, yep, he was with Carol Danvers for a brief time, Miss Marvel 34, and briefly touched upon again during Spider-Man's Siege issue. Back to the list, there's also Betty Brant, Rogue, Deborah Whitman, Carly Cooper, Cindy Moon, Liz Allen, Michelle Gonzalez, Kitty Pryde, as I mentioned earlier, and even Black Widow. He's dated a lot of people, folks, and broken up with a lot of them. Sometimes he does end up getting back together with them, like, you know, Mary Jane, but it's crazy to think that the guy who was a nerd, who was constantly made fun of and bullied in high school, has had so many relationships, regardless, you know, if they worked out or not. Spidey's got game, folks. There you have it, guys, the top 10 superheroes who break up the most. What does your top 10 look like? Let us know down in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host, David Raff, and thank you so much for watching.